The room was cold, silent, and filled with fear. Long metal walls stretched endlessly, covered with red warning lights that blinked again and again. Heavy energy cages lined both sides of the hall. Inside them were creatures from across the galaxy. Some were tall, some had claws, some had too many eyes. Others had none at all. Every cage had a glowing sign. Dangerous. Hostile. Do not approach. This place was called the Vault. It was where humanity locked away its worst enemies. The man walking through the hall knew this place better than anyone. His name was Commander Elias Cross. He was not afraid of monsters. He had fought them all his life. He had seen planets burn and cities fall. But today his steps were slow, because today he was not alone. On both sides of him walked his two daughters. They were small, holding his hands tightly. Their boots made soft sounds against the metal floor. Their eyes were wide, not with fear, but with curiosity. Behind them, armed guards followed closely. Their weapons were ready. Their fingers rested near triggers. Every guard was tense. No one had ever brought children into the vault before. "This is not a place for kids," one guard whispered. Elias heard him, but he said nothing. The girls had insisted on coming, and Elias had learned long ago. When his daughters felt something strongly, it was never without reason. They walked past cage after cage. A reptile-like alien smashed its claws against the barrier, roaring in rage. The girls did not react. A floating creature screamed words no human could understand. They kept walking. A tall shadow moved in another cage, its eyes glowing like fire. Still, the girls showed no fear. Elias felt uneasy. These were creatures that had killed millions. Some had wiped out human colonies. Some had eaten entire crews alive. This place existed, so the galaxy could sleep at night. Yet his daughters walked calmly, as if they were in a museum. Then something changed. Halfway down the hall, the air felt heavier. Even the guards noticed it. The lights dimmed slightly. A low hum filled the room, deep and unsettling. At the very end of the hall was one final cage. It was different from the others. This one had more chains, more locks, more power running through it. The sign above it did not blink. It glowed steadily. Extinction level threat. Designation unknown. Status never unchained. Inside the cage sat a massive alien. Its body was covered in dark, armor-like skin. Thick chains wrapped around its arms, legs, and chest. Energy cuffs burned with blue light, holding it down. Its head was lowered. Its eyes were closed. It looked calm, too calm. Every guard stopped walking. Some swallowed hard. Others quietly raised their weapons. Elias felt his heart slow. He knew this one. Everyone did. This creature had a name whispered across the galaxy. The World Breaker. It had destroyed fleets. It had torn through human defenses like paper. Entire colonies had gone silent because of it. No one knew where it came from. No one knew why it attacked. Only that it was unstoppable. Until it was captured. Elias tightened his grip on his daughter's hands. "Don't look," he said softly. But it was too late. The girls had already stopped walking. They were staring at the final cage. The guard shouted, "Commander, move them back. This one is not safe." Elias was about to speak. Then his daughters raised their arms. Both of them. They pointed, straight at the chained alien. "That one," the older daughter said quietly. Her voice echoed in the hall. The younger one nodded. "Yes," she added. "That one." The room froze. No alarm sounded. No weapons fired. But every person in that hall stopped breathing. Elias felt the blood drain from his face. His mind screamed no. Of all the beings in the vault, of all the monsters locked away, they had chosen this one. "Girls," Elias said slowly, trying to stay calm, "you don't understand." But the older daughter looked up at him. Her eyes were serious. "We do," she said. At that moment, something impossible happened. The alien moved. Slowly. The chains rattled softly as its head lifted. Its eyes opened. They were not glowing with rage. They were not filled with hatred. They were calm and focused. The alien did not look at the guards. It did not look at the weapons. It looked only at the two children. Then, still bound by chains, it lowered its head. In a gesture of respect, a scientist whispered in shock, "That creature has never reacted to anything before." Elias felt a chill run down his spine, because he knew one thing for certain. If the most dangerous being in the galaxy had chosen to acknowledge his daughters, then this story was far from over, and whatever was coming next would change humanity forever. No one spoke. The silence inside the vault was heavier than the metal walls. Commander Elias Cross stood frozen, his daughters still pointing at the chained creature. Around them, trained soldiers, men and women who had survived wars, felt something unfamiliar. Fear. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that crawls into the chest and refuses to leave. The alien remained still after bowing its head. The chains hummed softly as energy locks tightened automatically, responding to the movement. A sharp voice broke the silence. "Commander," said Dr. Howard, the lead xenobiologist, "step away from that cage." Immediately, Elias did not move. His eyes were locked on the alien. "This thing," Howard continued, her voice shaking despite her effort to sound calm, "is responsible for the death of over 3 billion humans." The guards shifted. Everyone knew the numbers. Whole planets, empty skies, dead signals drifting forever. The alien had earned its title, the deadliest being humanity ever faced. Years ago, when it first appeared, no one even knew it was a single creature. Human scanners thought it was a fleet. It moved like one. It destroyed like one. Entire defense lines vanished in minutes. Ships were torn apart as if pulled by invisible hands. Weapons failed. Shields collapsed. Communications died. Survivors spoke of a dark shape moving through space. Watching. Learning. Then killing. "This creature adapts," Dr. Howard said. "Every weapon used against it failed the second time. Lasers. Missiles. Gravity bombs. Even experimental weapons." She looked at the children, her face pale. "It learns," she whispered, "and it does not forget." Elias finally spoke. "Then why is it still alive?" he asked. No one answered right away, because the truth was worse than death. They had not killed it because they could not. It took a trap, so large it nearly destroyed a moon, a fate distress signal, a collapsing gravity well, a sacrifice of hundreds of ships. And even then, the alien did not scream. It did not beg. It did not fight. It allowed itself to be taken. Since that day, it had not spoken a word. Not once. It ignored pain, ignored isolation, ignored every attempt to study it. Until now, Elias looked down at his daughters. "Why?" he asked softly. "Why this one?" The younger daughter frowned, as if trying to find the right words. "He is very loud," she said. Dr. Howard stiffened. "Loud?" "In our heads," the older daughter explained, "but not angry." The scientists exchanged nervous glances. "That's impossible," Howard said. "We tested it. This creature emits no psychic waves, no signals, nothing." The older daughter shook her head. "He hides it," she said simply. That was when the alien's eyes changed. Not brighter, deeper. A low vibration rolled through the hall. Screens flickered. Sensors spiked wildly. "Power surge," a technician shouted. The guards raised their weapons fully now. "Hold your fire," Elias ordered. The alien slowly lifted its head again. Its gaze moved past the children and locked onto Elias. For the first time since its capture, it looked at a human adult. Elias felt pressure in his skull. Not pain. Wait. Images flashed behind his eyes. Fire. Stars collapsing. Human ships advancing in formation. Then something else. Fear. Not from humans. From the alien. Elias staggered back one step. "What is happening?" Howard demanded. The alien's mouth opened. No sound came out, but Elias heard words clearly. "You named me monster," the voice said inside his mind. "But you never asked why I fought." Elias gasped. The guard shouted. "Commander is compromised." "Shut it down." Energy levels spiked dangerously. The chains glowed bright blue. digging into the alien's body. Still, it did not resist. Your children can hear me because they are not afraid, the voice continued. Fear makes humans deaf. The daughters stepped closer. No, Elias shouted. But the alien did nothing. It only lowered its head again. I waited, the voice said, because the real enemy is coming back. Suddenly, every alarm in the vault screamed to life. Red lights flashed violently. A system voice echoed through the facility. Warning. Unknown signal detected. Outside galactic edge. Dr. Howard turned white. That signal, she whispered. That signal disappeared centuries ago. The alien's voice returned one last time. I was not your executioner, it said. I was your shield. Elias stared at the creature, at the chains, at his daughters, and for the first time in his life, he questioned everything humanity thought it knew. The alarm screamed across the facility. Red lights flashed violently. Heavy doors slammed shut one after another. The vault went into full lockdown. Commander Elias Cross pulled his daughters close to him, his heart pounding hard in his chest. Soldiers ran to their positions. Scientists shouted commands. Screens filled with unreadable data. But inside the final chamber, the alien did not move. It sat silently in its chains, calm in the middle of chaos. That signal, Dr. Howard said, her voice shaking, is impossible. It vanished hundreds of years ago. Elias did not answer. He was still hearing the voice in his mind. I was your shield. He looked down at his daughters. They were not afraid. Instead, they looked sad. Why are you crying? Elias asked softly. The younger daughter wiped her eyes. He is very tired, she said. Dr. Howard turned sharply. What did you say? The older daughter stepped forward a little, her small hands clenched. He has been alone for a very long time, she said, and he stayed quiet on purpose. The scientist stared at her. No, Howard said, this creature does not feel loneliness. It does not feel regret. It's a weapon. The girl shook her head slowly. He feels everything, she said. He just does not show it. The alien's chains vibrated gently, like they were responding to her words. Sensors spiked again. How can you hear him? A scientist demanded. How are you doing this? The older daughter closed her eyes. He is not talking with words, she said. He is showing us memories. Elias felt cold. Memories of what? He asked. The girl opened her eyes and looked straight at him, of before the war. Suddenly, the air in the chamber changed. The pressure returned to Elias's head, but stronger this time. The room faded, and then he was somewhere else. He stood in space, not in a ship, not in a suit, but he could see. Stars burned quietly around him. Massive alien structures floated peacefully, glowing with soft light. Different species moved together, not in fear, but in balance. Then humanity appeared. Human fleets arrived fast and loud. Weapons charged. The vision shook. The alien's voice returned, deeper now. We watch your kind grow, it said. Fast, clever, dangerous. Elias saw humans build machines that bent space itself. Energy weapons strong enough to crack planets. You reached places you did not understand, the voice continued, and something followed you back. The vision darkened. A shadow moved between the stars. It had no shape, no form. Where it passed, stars went out. Entire civilizations vanished without sound. Fear gripped Elias. What is that? He whispered. The daughters answered together. The devourer. The vision showed the alien species standing alone against the darkness, fighting it, holding it back. We sealed it away, the voice said, at a terrible cost. Then the vision changed again. Human ships attacked the alien guardians. Explosions filled the void. Elias felt shame burn in his chest. You thought we were your enemy, the voice said. So we became what you feared. The vision ended. Elias collapsed to one knee. The chamber rushed back into view. Soldiers stared at him in shock. What did you see? Howard asked quietly. Elias looked up. The truth, he said. Before anyone could speak, the younger daughter walked closer to the cage. Elias reached for her. No. But the alien did not react. Instead, it leaned forward slightly. He stayed here, the child said, because if he fought again, her voice trembled. The devourer would wake up. The room went silent. That's impossible, a general said over the comm. You're saying the universe stays safe because this thing is chained? The older daughter nodded. Yes. The alien's voice echoed one last time in Elias's mind. I chose the cage, it said, because your kind needed time. Elias stood slowly. He looked at the chains, at the guards, at his daughters. Humanity had locked away its protector and called it a monster. Suddenly, a technician shouted, Commander, the external signal is growing stronger. Dr. Howard turned to the screens. It's not coming from our galaxy, she said. It's coming from beyond it. The alien lifted its head. For the first time, fear crossed its face. Time is almost over, it said. Elias felt a chill run through his body, because if the deadliest alien feared what was coming, then humanity was nowhere near ready. The room felt smaller after the truth came out. Commander Elias Cross stood silently, his hands shaking at his sides. Around him, the best minds of humanity struggled to accept what they had just seen. A lie, not a small one, a lie that had shaped wars, fear, and hatred for generations. Dr. Howard was the first to speak. If this is true, she said slowly, then everything in our history records is wrong. Elias looked at the chained alien. It is not wrong, he said. It is incomplete. The alien lifted its head slightly. The chains glowed, but it did not resist. Your kind is not like unfinished stories. Its voice echoed inside Elias's mind. So you filled the gaps with fear. The screens around the chamber came alive on their own. Old recordings appeared. Footage never shown to the public. Human fleets advancing first. Weapons firing without warning. Alien worlds burning. Gasps filled the room. These files were sealed, a historian whispered. Classified beyond council access. The alien's voice continued. Your leaders needed a monster, it said, because monsters are easier to fight than mistakes. Elias felt anger rise in his chest. You let us believe you destroyed us for pleasure, he said. No, the alien replied. I destroyed what followed you. The screen shifted again. The shadow returned. The devourer, it fed on advanced technology, on energy networks, on civilizations that expanded too fast. Humanity had been its beacon. Every time your ships jumped through space, the alien said, you rang a bell. Silence filled the room. You used us as bait. A general snapped. The alien turned its gaze toward him. You used yourselves, it replied calmly. I only cleaned the trail. The daughter stepped forward again. He never wanted to fight you, the older one said. He wanted you to stop. But humans don't stop, the younger one added quietly. Elias swallowed hard. That was true. Humanity always moved forward, always pushed, always conquered. The alien showed them the final memory. A council of guardian species arguing. Some wanted to destroy humanity early. Others wanted to wait. This alien stood alone. I said you deserved a chance, it said, even if it cost me everything. The room broke into chaos. Arguments. Shouting. Denial. This is manipulation. It's rewriting history. We can't trust it. Elias raised his voice. Enough. The room went silent. He turned to his daughters. What happens now? He asked. The girls exchanged a look. Then the older one spoke. The lie is breaking, she said, and the devourer knows. The alarms changed tone. Not warning. Panic, a technician shouted. The signal is spreading. Multiple star systems are going dark. Dr. Howard stared at the data. It's following human colonies, she whispered. Only human colonies. The alien closed its eyes. You ran faster than I could protect you, it said. Now the hunter is awake. Elias looked at the chains again, at the creature humanity had feared more than anything. How we stop it? He asked. The alien opened its eyes. For the first time, there was no calm, only urgency. You stop hiding, it said, and you decide who you really are. The daughters held Elias's hands. Daddy. The younger one said, you have to choose soon. Elias felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. Release the alien and risk everything. Or keep the lie alive and lose it all. Outside the station, far beyond known space, something massive moved, and it was coming for humanity. The first colony went silent without a warning. No distress call, no explosion, no escape pods. One moment it was there. The next moment, nothing. Commander Elias Cross stood in the command center as the report came in. The screen showed an empty star system. Power readings dropped to zero. Satellites vanished from scanners like they were never built. Dr. Halloran whispered, that was New Horizon. A human world. 2 billion people. Gone. The room felt cold. Then another alert sounded. And another. Second colony lost. Third system collapsing. All human signals fading. The pattern was clear. The devourer was not attacking randomly. It was hunting. Elias turned toward the viewing chamber where the alien still sat chained. You said you were our shield, Elias said. Then help us. The alien did not answer right away. Instead, the station shook. Lights flickered. Gravity wavered. A deep signal passed through the hull, felt more than heard. Dr. Halloran stared at the readings in horror. It's here, she said. Not fully, but close enough to touch us. The devourer had reached the edge of known space, and it was learning fast. Human fleets launched immediately. Hundreds of ships jumped toward the threat. Weapons fired. Energy fields lit the darkness. They lasted 12 seconds. 12 seconds before every ship went dark. Elias closed his eyes. Human weapons meant nothing. A general slammed his fist on the table. We release the alien, he said. Now. Another officer shouted back. And if it turns on us, if this is all a lie, the argument exploded across the room. Fear against survival. Pride against extinction. The daughter stood quietly near Elias. He cannot fight while chained, the older one said. The alien lifted its head. I can slow it, it said, but not alone. What do you need? Elias asked. The alien looked at him, not at the guards, not at the weapons, at him. Trust, it said. The room fell silent. Trust. Humanity had built walls, weapons, and prisons. Trust was never part of the plan. Elias took a step forward. Then another. He stood directly in front of the cage. Commander, Dr. Halloran shouted. If you do this, you cannot undo it. Elias nodded. I know. He looked at his daughters. They nodded back. Slowly, Elias raised his hand. Release the primary chains. No, someone shouted. Do it. Elias ordered. The system hesitated, then obeyed. One chain released. Then another. The alien stood taller. The station trembled. Energy surged across the hull. Alarm screamed louder than before. Dr. Halloran watched in shock. The devourer reacted, she said. It knows. The alien's voice echoed through the chamber, no longer calm. It feels me, it said, and it is afraid. The daughters stepped closer. We will help, they said together. Elias turned sharply. No, you stay back. The alien shook its head. They are already part of this, it said. They always were. Suddenly, the devourer appeared on the main screen. Not a shape, not a body. A hole in reality. Stars bent around it. Light vanished near it. The universe itself seemed to pull away. Dr. Halloran whispered, that thing eats existence. The alien straightened fully. Chains fell away. For the first time, it was unbound. Humans, it said, its voice echoing across every speaker. Stand with me, or hide behind your fear, and end. Elias swallowed. He looked around the room. At soldiers. At scientists. At his children. Then he spoke. All fleets. Elias said, stand down. The room erupted. Are you insane? We're defenseless. Elias raised his voice. No, he said. We're choosing who we are. Outside, the devourer moved closer. Inside, humanity made its final choice, and the galaxy held its breath. The galaxy did not wait for humanity to decide. The devourer moved. Space twisted around it like water pulled into a drain. Stars dimmed. Reality bent. Every sensor screamed in confusion. Human ships floated in silence, weapons powered down by Elias's order. Thousands of lives depended on one impossible plan. The alien stepped forward. Free, for the first time in centuries, it stood without chains. Its presence filled the station, not with fear, but with pressure, like standing near a storm. Stay behind me, the alien said. If you fight it alone, you will die. Elias swallowed and nodded. The daughters stood close, holding each other's hands. We can hear it, the older one said. It is angry. The alien looked at them. It remembers you, it replied. That is why it came faster. Outside, the devourer shifted. A wave of darkness rolled outward. Space itself screamed. The alien raised its arms. The universe responded. Light bent around it. Energy gathered, not from machines, but from gravity, stars, and motion itself. Dr. Halloran stared at the readings. It's not using technology, she whispered. It's using existence. The first clash was silent. No explosions. No fire. Just pressure. Reality folded where the two forces touched. Stars vanished like candles blown out. Human ships shook violently. Some lost power. Others drifted helplessly. The alien roared, not in anger, but effort. Now, it said, link with me. The daughters gasped. He is opening his mind, the younger one said. He needs us. Elias felt panic rise. No, he said, I won't lose you. The alien turned to him. Then you lose everything. It said calmly. The devourer pushed harder. Space cracked. Entire star systems screamed and vanished. Elias closed his eyes. He made the hardest decision of his life. Do it, he whispered. The daughters stepped forward. They placed their hands on the alien's arm. Light flared. The station shook violently. Suddenly, human ships felt something change. Fear faded. Clarity replaced it. The daughters acted as a bridge. Human minds linked to something far greater. Now you see, the alien said, this is what you were meant to be. Human pilots gasped. They could feel each other. No orders. No delays. They moved as one. For the first time in history, humanity fought without fear. The devourer screamed. A sound fell across the galaxy. The alien pushed forward, burning with impossible light, but its body began to crack. Dark lines spread across its armor-like skin. Dr. Halloran screamed, It's breaking apart. The alien did not stop. This ends now, it said. It lunged into devourer. Light exploded. Darkness collapsed inward. The shock wave raced across the galaxy. Then, silence. No devourer. No darkness. Only stars. Human ships drifted, systems rebooting slowly. The daughters collapsed to the floor. Elias ran to them, pulling them close. They're alive, Dr. Halloran said, tears streaming. They're alive. But the alien, it fell. Its massive body hit the station floor motionless. Cracks of fading light covered it. Elias knelt beside it. You saved us, he whispered. The alien's eyes opened slightly. You saved yourselves, it replied weakly. I only reminded you how. Its breathing slowed. The galaxy was safe, but the price had been paid, and humanity would never be the same again. The galaxy was quiet again. Stars burned softly, like they had before the war. Human ships drifted slowly through space, damaged but alive. Signals returned one by one. Colonies had gone dark, sent their first messages in years. Humanity had survived. Commander Elias Cross stood beside the alien's body in the vault chamber. The creature lay still, its once powerful form now cracked and fading. Soft light moved gently across its skin like a dying sunset. Dr. Halloran approached quietly. It's stable, she said. Barely. But it's alive. Elias released a breath he did not know he was holding. His daughters stood near the alien, their faces calm. "He is resting," the older one said. "He is not afraid anymore." The younger one smiled softly. "He trusts us now." The galaxy did not forget what happened. Records were opened. Old lies were removed. History was rewritten, not to erase mistakes, but to face them. Humanity was no longer known as conquerors. They were called the ones who listened. Other species watched in silence as humans did something unexpected. They did not build statues. They did not claim victory. They built a place of healing. The alien was moved, not to prison, but to a sanctuary. The chains were gone. The guards were gone. Only watchers remained, not to control, to protect. Elias visited often, sometimes with his daughters, sometimes alone. One day, the alien opened its eyes again, weak, but aware. Elias stood quietly. "You could have left us," Elias said, "after everything." The alien looked at him. "You learned," it said. "That is enough." The daughters stepped forward. "You are family now," the younger one said. The alien closed his eyes again. Peacefully, far beyond Earth, the stars shifted. New alliances formed. Old enemies spoke for the first time. Humanity had not won with weapons. They had won with choice, with trust, with courage. And somewhere in the galaxy, the universe took note, because the most dangerous species was never the one with the strongest weapons. It was the one brave enough to change. If the story made you think, if it made you feel something, then don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more human stories that change the galaxy.